Hello students, welcome to this class of SST, and today I'm going to teach you the first chapter of history, and the name of the first chapter is Glorious India, or you can call Bharat, beginning to 1206 AD Anno Domino. So students, this is the first chapter in 10th class in your history part, as you have in SST history, geography, political or economics, some part of economic. So students, few chapters you have studied in SST from the part of geography, civics or economics. Today I'm going to teach you, I'm going to discuss with you this chapter Glorious India. Students, when the name comes Glorious India, what do you think of, what do you mean by the Glorious India? Well, apart from this chapter, you just think about our country India, that is called Bharat, and many things come in mind. The system of government, the system of the departments and the states which you see today, it was not like that 100 years back, 1000 years back. It was not like that. Just now you see the village, then tehsil, and then the districts, then states, and then one nation, and there are different administration and different governments for them. And then you see all around the mobile phones, transportation, communication, all these things you see from zero level to every top of the thing. Everything has changed. Everything has changed. But if we think about thousands years back, around 6,000 years back. How many? 6,000 years back. 6,000 years back. How was the life of people? How were the cities? How the people, what were the games? What were the entertainments? What were the ways and means of communication, transportation, and how was the situation and the state and the form of government? Students, I'm not taking you back to the more 100 years back, but I'm telling you some relevant examples of Mahabharat. Okay, Mahabharat, you people must have seen Mahabharat on TV, and during the Corona COVID-19 time when there was lockdown, DD channel presented Mahabharat on TV, and Ramayana also, before that Ramayana also. So these things are not very old. And the time of Mahabharat, war is just said to be around 5,000 years back. So lump sum 5,200 or like lump sum that. Well, so students, you have seen Mahabharat on TV, not real. So what exactly you watch when you watch Mahabharat serial? There are many episodes. That was the big, big epic. This is a big epic. Mahabharata and Ramayana, both are big epics, great epics are there. So what you see when we watch Mahabharata, we listen some names of the states and the areas. Not like now you listen Jaipur, Ajmer, Gandhinagar, Chennai, Calcutta, not like this. But you must have heard some different names of the states or the areas. Few of them you can understand with the names. Kurukshetra was the place where Kauravas and Pandavas fought the war. Then you other name I tell you, Gandhar. Gandhar Naresh. Shakuni was the prince of Gandhar and the wife of Dhritarashtra. Gandhari was the daughter of Gandhar Naresh. So this name Gandhar is very familiar to you if you watch Mahabharata. Then I tell you one more example, Panchal. Panchal Naresh, daughter Panchali. Draupadi was the daughter of Panchal Naresh. So that name is also very familiar to you. Hastinapur. Hastinapur was the main cause for the war. Then you heard, if you heard the name Indraprasth. Indraprasth was the area where, Pandavas won that place and they ruled that place, Indraprasth, and then later they lost that place, that area to the Kauravas. So these, when you hear these names, you watch Mahabharata and these names come, don't you think what were these places and who ruled them? Yes, obviously you know, like Hastinapur, like then you see the other place, many other places were ruled by the kings. Ruled by the kings. Not like today's time, like chief minister or the prime minister or like that administration system was there. No, that time there were kings ruled these states. So when we talk about glorious India, we are going to enjoy this chapter. Really, if you enjoy the history, if you want to enjoy the history, watch the history. You remember India was called the golden bird. Gold, bird of gold. Like it was said to be a gold bird, gold bird. And many of the invaders, many of the companies, many of the other countries, many invaders came to India to loot this place. Because India was really very glorious country among all the world's countries. So this was called the golden bird, and still India was called the world guru. World guru. And what has been the principle and philosophy of India? If you must have heard that one sentence, Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam, all the earth is our family. And India believes in that thought. So really, history of India is very glorious and very enjoyable and very full of great experience. If you see step by step, I tell you, when you watch the serials, such historic serials, such some geographic channels, some movies, you will understand many things if you watch such movies. I tell you, you can watch, like when you watch a movie related to history, like Padmavat, like Jodha Akbar. These movies present the things which are in the books and which happened in the history. So, very recent movie. And one more movie, I don't remember the name, that is about a Sindhu river. You can watch these movies to learn about the history, but we are talking about especially glorious India. So we are not spreading the content and we are not going deeper to the very history of every part of the world. We are talking about India. So students, there is first chapter, and let's go through the chapter. So I'm telling you the very basic and few points I'm making clear, and you can read line to line, but I will explain the very main part of the chapter, so you can keep in your mind. So India is said to be very glorious, many countries from the surrounding, people came to India, and its Indian culture is very famous. It's been very famous, and from the archaeology and excavation remains, we know about Indian glory, and the Indian territory beyond the sea, like you see some islands like Andaman, Nicobar and Damandiv, these islands beyond the sea. Many countries like Myanmar, Syria, Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia, Brunei, Philippines, Japan, Korea. These people had very political and some commercial relationship with our country, and they were through the ship, through the water. That was the main source of transportation, main mean of communication. Or transportation, carrying the goods here from one place to other place. So its history is rich, culture is rich, and from the Indian philosophy, astrology and architecture, war, science, ethics, music, Vedic epics, we learn many things. From the beginning, the ancient civilization of India gives us vision of its dual form. So students, the period of Indus-Saraswati civilization, you must have heard the name Indus-Saraswati civilization, means Sindhu Sabhyata or Saraswati Sabhyata. Vedic civilization, Ramayana, Mahabharata, civilization and culture has been considered as the golden period of India. After the Sindhu civilization, that this period of Mahabharata, before Mahabharata, Ramayana, Vedic civilization, Indus civilization, this time was the golden time, golden period of India. And the Vedas are also known as the world knowledge dictionary. Definitely, our Vedas are the world knowledge dictionary. Such knowledge, such literature can never be found on earth. And also the Indus-Saraswati civilization is the best civilization in terms of architecture. when we read about the Indus civilization, you must have read in other chapters somewhere in the previous classes, their system of houses, the system of drainage and the roads, everything was very much planned from all the aspects, for saving from the flood, from saving, protecting from the earthquake, from every aspect. The architecture was very rich that time of Sindhu civilization. And Ramayana and Mahabharata have been famous in the form of these various ideas and in the form of these various ideas and policy texts of India. Policy texts of India means we learn from with the both epics. It gives the good knowledge and policy text. Like in Mahabharata, what Krishna said in that knowledge of Gita, that part of Mahabharata is full of knowledge for every person on earth, because that is not only in Mahabharata and not only for a particular religion or particular person, that is everlasting and ever going system of management for a life. And so this way we can say that in Mahabharata, when Krishna tells Arjuna that he gives the knowledge of life and everything in 18 parts, that is the first management book of life. How to manage the life, how to manage profession, how to manage emotion, how to manage relation. That is the best book of the world. So this way these texts have been rich, and obviously those are found in the glorious India. And Ramayana also, that is we learn many from the many different incidents, different characters, from different parts. We learn many things through this epic, and that is also part of our glorious India. So students, definitely there is no doubt that India has been glorious in the past, definitely. And that's why the British people, British company looked towards India with very dirty eyes, and really they ruled here for more than 200 years, 300 years, 260 years. And they looted and they destroy our country from inside and put it at the backstage of the world. But now definitely it is developing again, and one day India will prove again the glorious country of the world. And you see, iron widely used in eastern Uttar Pradesh and western Bihar till the period iron technology had made a change in the physical life of people. And how, the transportation, the ways of communication have improved the life of people, the standard of people. Now, it takes few seconds to reach from one second to other place, and the many miles and kilometers distance you can travel easily in few hours, and you can carry big load of things on big aircrafts, and you can talk to anyone in the world live. You can talk face to face with the video calling. So all this is what? improvement and development in the society, in the way of life standard and other aspect of life. So this thing has made the living standard of the people very high. The development of the agriculture industry, in agriculture industry, trade, commerce, etc. made the ancient tribal system shabby, and the big districts took the place of small janas by the 6th century BC. So now we start the 6th century, 6th century BC, before Christ, before the birth of Christ. There was complete lack of universal authority in the northern India. Definitely. India was not united like it is today. It was not united like this. Now we have the states, districts, and then central government, one body there to control the whole country's activities. India was completely divided into different independent states. And these states were more elaborated and powerful than the North Vedic states. Now the things what? Now we start by the 6th century BC. 6th century BC. It is India was not united. It was divided into separate states. And that's why invaders came to India, Mughal came to India, Dravid came to India, Greek came to India, Britishers came to India, and other, invaders came to India and attacked India. Many kings attacked our country and they looted our country. So, because we were separated, we were divided, we were not united. India was not united. States were not united. The local kings of India were not united. And what was called that time? These states were called the Mahajanpadas. Mahajanpada period starts from 300. Mahajanpada period start from 600 to 325 BC. So Mahajanpada, what is Mahajanpada? Means you can understand with the name Mahajanpada, means a large part of country, like you people call now states, the different states. So it was the part of country, big part of country, like state. In old time the states, now the places are called states, districts, and these areas were not states and districts. They were called that time Mahajanpadas. And that time, in the 6th century BC, various extended and powerful independent states were established in India. So many independent states. Independent. Now all states are under the central government. Okay? All 29. But in old time, it was not like that. It was not like, united. In India, different states, different janpad or Mahajanpads were separate, and they had their own working administration. They had their own monarchy system or republic system. They had their own king, and they were separated, not under one union. and called the Mahajanpadas. These independent states were established in India, and these independent states. So you can understand, students, with the name what is Mahajanpad. So you can write that various extended and powerful independent states were established in India. Those were called Mahajanpadas. According to Buddhist text, Anguttara Nikaya 16, Buddhist text name is the Anguttara Nikaya, is a text name, book name, like Mahabharata or Ramayana. 16 Mahajanpadas exists during that period, during the 6th century. During the 6th century, how many? 16 Mahajanpadas were there. 16 Mahajanpadas. 16. And in India. Okay? And what were those? However, it would be easy for you to keep the names, Mahajanpadas name, and many of the names you will know very familiar. One is Kashi, Kuru, Anga, Magda, Vazzi, Mala, Chedi, Vatsya, Kaushal, Panchal, Matsya, Sursena, Asaka, and Avanti, Gandhar, and Kamboj. And the capitals and their capitals, like we have now state and capital. So like that, those Mahajanpadas, 16 Mahajanpadas had their capitals also. Now students, come back to the point. How many of the Mahajanpadas you have already heard the name? Most of you must have seen in the serials or movies. Like Anga Mahajanpada. If you remember in Mahabharata, Duryodhan made Karan the king of Angades. If you remember, the king of Angades, Duryodhan made Karan the king of Angades to prove that he was a Kshatriya. So he was the king of Angades, that is Anga. And Magda, and one is Kaushal, Naresh, you know. You must have heard the Lord Rama's mother name was Kaushalya. So that time, you know, that name is called Kaushal. So that with the name of people or person, the name of the areas were used to kept, like Kaushal. And Panchal, I told you Panchal, that time capital of Panchal. And Matsya, Sursena, Asaka, these 16 Mahajanpadas are there. So how you can keep these names in short form? I tell you, you can remember them like AKMV, okay, and GPSC. These are this is a short form of these all 16 Janpadas, because if the question comes that write the name of all Janpadas, order doesn't matter, but you can keep in mind. So I tell you A3, K4, M3 or V2, these are single. The 4 are in power, 4 are single. Now see, A3, K4, M3, V2, GPSC. Now, A, you can remember that with A we start 3 names. Okay, one is Anga, Avanti, Asaka. Easily, once or twice if you try, easily you can remember later. Okay, Avanti, Anga, Asaka. 3. K4 means The letter K, with the letter K starts 4 names. See, Kasi, Kuru, okay, and one is Kaushal, and the last is Kamboj. Then M stands for Magda, Mala and Matsya. V2, okay. So Vaji and Vatsya. Gandhar, Panchal, Sursena and Chedi. 1, 1, 1, 1. So this way you can practice keeping the things easy for you, for making easy for you. These were the 16 Mahajanpadas. And now these 16 Janpadas, Mahajanpadas were divided into 2 type of categories. You know, there were 2 type of states in the above Mahajanpadas. Monarchy means where was the Rajtantra, the king's Rajtantra. And the Republican means Ganatantra. 2 types of Janpadas were there. So divided like now, India is a republic country. So like that, that time also somewhere was the Rajtantra and somewhere was the Ganatantra. And now Kaushal, Vatsa, Avanti and Magda were the most powerful monarchies of that time. Monarchies means Rajtantras, these 4. In the 6th century BC, various republics exist. And the prominent were Sakya of Kapilvastu, parts of Sesumgiri, and the Puli of Alakappa, and the Kalam of Kasapatra, and the Khalyas of Ramgrama, Malaj of Pava, and Kushinara, Mauryas of Pipalwana, Lichvi of Vaishali, and the Vedas of Mithila. These were the very famous prominent republics. And the 4 I told you, the Kaushal and Vatsya, Avanti and Magda were the most powerful monarchies. So these were divided into the 16 into the Republic and the Rajtantra, okay. And now chief Janpadas of Rajasthan were as follows. Now out of these 16 Janpadas, now we are talking about the Rajasthan's famous popular chief Janpadas which were falling in Rajasthan area now. So in the development of Vedic civilization, the rise of the districts were also seen in Rajasthan due to the Greek invasion, Malwas of Punjab, Shivi and Arjuna, Nayan and the Khas, which were famous for their courage and bravery, came to Rajasthan and started living here. Thus the district level administration was inaugurated in eastern Rajasthan. And following are the prominent Janpadas. So you can say Mahajanpada is state and Janpada is district. So in Rajasthan, chief Janpadas of Rajasthan were as follows. So many of the people, many of the invaders came to the Rajasthan area, and they started living here and they started ruling the prominent Janpadas, and out of them were few common, that is Jangal. Jangal, you must have heard the name of Jangal Janpad. The present day Bikaner and Jodhpur district. Bikaner and Jodhpur district were known as Jangla Desh, Janglu Desh, Janglu Pradesh, and we can call such similar names. Janglu area, this Bikaner, Jodhpur, this area used to call the 2 districts used to be called Janglu Janpad, or Janglu Pradesh. And the old name, during the Mahabharat period, these places were used to call. Somewhere it was known as Kuru Jangla and Madera Jangla Chitrapur was the capital of Janpada, and which is now called as Nagaur. And Bikaner, Jodhpur, between there is Nagaur. So Nagaur, this place used to be called Aichatrapur. Aichatrapur, which is now Nagaur district, used to be the capital of Changal Pradesh. So, as the king of Bikaner was the owner of this forest, he used to call himself Jangaldhar. Jangaldhar, or the king, Jai Jangaldhar King. Okay, Jai Jangaldhar King is also written in the state symbol of Bikaner state. So, we can get the inscriptions and such clues from the written the state symbol of Bikaner state. So one was the Jangal. So this is the Janpad of Jangal. This is the Janpad of Rajasthan. Next is Matsya. Matsya area, I tell you, in Rajasthan different districts were called with these names. Bikaner, Jodhpur, Nagaur used to be called Jangal. So this way all the district of Rajasthan used to be called with these names in old time. And the area around the present city Jaipur was also known as the Matsya Mahajanpada. It extended from the Chambal Hills from MP side to the forest area of Saraswati River. Some of the modern Alwar and Bharatpur areas also came under it, and capital was Viratnagar, which is now known as the Berat. There is lack of explicit information of the Matsya Janpada before the Mauryan ruler Bindusara. It is said in the Mahabharata that the king named Sahas ruled the both Chedi and Matsya states. Matsya initially became the part of the state of Magda and later in the vast Magda kingdom. So second was the Matsya, which you see, Matsya. Matsya Janpad, okay, that is now you can say the area of Jaipur. This area is used to be called Mahajanpad, and that was called Matsya with the name near the Jaipur area, and that is extended to the Alwar or Bharatpur area also came under it, under the Matsya. And this was the other, and the names of the kings ruled here was Sahas and Chedi, ruled over Chedi and Matsya, and it was mostly became the state of Magda. This was the state under the Magda, and later in the Vas it became the capital of Magda. Then Sursena. Sursen, this Mahajanpad. Again, out of the 16 we are talking. This Mahajanpad was situated in the modern Bridge region. Bridge, the very beautiful name you must have heard, everyone must have heard. Bridge, when the name comes Bridge, you link it with the Krishna and Krishna Leela. So Lord Krishna's playground, Bridge, its capital was Mathura. Mathura, where Lord Krishna was born. And ancient Greek writers call this state as Sursenoi. Its old name was Sursenoi. And its capital is as Mathura. Mathura in old time it used to call Mathura, it's now Mathura. The names are changed according to the past of time. According to Mahabharata, this region was ruled by the Yudu dynasty. Yudu dynasty means Yadav. Yudu dynasty called Yadav, and most of the areas of Bharatpur, Dholpur and the Karoli district used to be under Sursena districts. And the eastern part of Alwar district was also under Sursena. Vasudev's son Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, belonged to this district. The third is Sursena. 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 Okay, so Sursena, its capital was Mathura, and Lord Krishna born there, and he was also Yadav from Yudu dynasty. Krishna was Yadav, Yudu dynasty, born in the Yudu Yadav family. So the areas of Sursena Mahajanpad was Bharatpur, Dholpur and some Karoli district areas. These were in that. Now next is Shivi. These four Janpads are there. Shivpur was the capital of Shivi district, and it was defeated by the king Sushin with the other castes in the battle of 10 kings. Ancient Shivpura is identified from the present Shurkot district of Pakistan, that is in Pakistan now. During this period, the Shivi area, Shivis of southern Punjab started living. Shivi is a caste, so with their name, the name of the place fall Shivi, and live in Mewar region of Rajasthan. So Shivi people came from Pakistan area, and they started living in Mewar area. The city of Chittorgarh was the capital of the district, and the city of Chittorgarh was the capital of this district, Shivi. Shivi coins are found in the various places of Mewar, and 5 ciphers were found near Mandsaur, indicating the spread of Shivi Janpada from the west to the southeast. Regardless of the democratic west to the southeast, regardless of the democratic government system, the rule of these districts was in the hands of elite families. Elite families means very rich families. You can say like Rajtantra families used to lead these Janpadas, and the representatives of the families used to arrange rule in the form of the heads of in the Santhangara Sabha. Santhangara Sabha used to be called Santhangara Sabha. The members of the Santhangara Sabha means assembly, could express their views on determining subjects, and it was called the Anu Virudh. The topics which were subjected to controversy were settled by the casting votes, and some topics where they had some issues, they used to be solved with the votes, casting votes, and the multiple steps of vote were used to be pulling. Santhangara was the largest institution of the district Janpadas, and the basic rules of the state policy were determined in this assembly, because besides the central trustees, provincial republic collapsed due to mutual split in the era, and the expansionist policy of contemporary monarchies was temporarily liable for their collapse. So students, these 4 are the Janpadas we have studied about in Rajasthan, and today we have talked about the 16 Mahajanpadas with names I have told you in the mnemonic form: A3, 4-3, M3, V3, GPSC. So means these are 16 names of Mahajanpadas, and we are studying, we are enjoying the glorious India, the history of India, and then we read about the four Janpadas which comes under the Rajasthan area and their ruling system, and somewhat about the places and the districts which comes under now. So students, next we'll continue with the Maurya dynasty and how Maurya people ruled in our country. And many of the dynasties came like Maurya, Sunga, Satwan, Gupta, Vardhana, Paul, Prithara, Pallava, Chalukya dynasties. These were dynasties ruled in India. So one by one we will study about them and their time and how they ruled in this glorious country. By the time you can revise this chapter which we have read, this part of history, and hope you will enjoy it, and will continue in your next video. Have a good time.